Welcome back, friends. Lost Scarf here. And I don't know what I'm gonna talk about today. So let's talk about the channel. That's easy. We're gonna do a quick 10 here, so let's see here. Alright, so Kirby podcast. That is new episode just came out. It's about the third light novel. It's about almost 90 minutes. I think it's 80 minutes. So much going on there, so fun. Check it out, have fun with that. Yay with that. Working on Kirby's Dream Land 3, doing the footage right now with Jinx, because I just realized we need to co-op that because GUI's in that game, and GUI's only in that game if you have a player 2, because I'm pretty sure there's no AI for GUI if I remember correctly. I'm like 95% sure there's no AI for GUI, because I remember playing and just like, oh hey, there's this guy just standing here not doing anything. But that was like 20 plus years ago, so I don't know, I might be remembering wrong. I don't know. I could be. Alright, so with the channel, right now it's just the voice LPs, the vlogs, and Kirby podcast. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing right now. And it's just got me thinking about, so, I've been talking about with Jinx, and it's just, we just paid all our energy forward. We burn out our candles by going as crazy as we did for so many years. And now it finally caught up to us, and it's just so weird now. It's just crazy, because I was doing like 8 hours of content a day. Like I was doing a lot of streaming, recording, and working on stuff. And Jinx was doing a bunch of editing, and we were making like 2-3 videos a day. Every day we were putting out so much content. There's a reason why we have 2 million views. We put out so many videos out there for people to watch. They randomly get watched every now and then. And it's just wild. It's just wild what gets watched and why it gets watched. Why the algorithm recommends it to people, I don't understand, but it's what happens. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy is the best way to put it. But all the energy as far as like trying to grow is over at the podcast. While as the voice LP is just like, this is us using the channel as a hobby now, as a creative outlet hobby. Besides the vlog still being used as therapy, I suppose. But it's crazy. I looked at the analytics about the channel. We get the most views from that random Meta Knight Dies video I made, which is just so silly. Like, it gets the most views every month. It really does. It's crazy. Second most views, that Legend of Zelda Solutions video that we put out what, how many years ago? Back when the Wii U was a thing, because we played it on the Wii U. And it's helped a ton of people. It's helped a ton of people on the Switch, too. Not just the Wii U. But there are people who says it doesn't work. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, because all these other people work, so, well, I don't know. After that, it's the voice LPs. The voice LPs and the vlogs. Those get the next number of views, and they get the next number of money from the advertising. And then, after that, it's just whatever random videos. Like, for some reason, one of the random Nier Automatas is getting a bunch of views, which is random. That was so many years ago. Oh yeah, the Nier anime happened, which was interesting. Right now it's weirding me out just not being depressed. It's really weird. It's what's going on? I don't understand why I'm not depressed lately. I'm just going. I'm moving slow, but I'm not like sad. I'm just like, and that's it. Like, it's weird. Weird not being depressed. It's really weird. But it's a good thing, obviously. Obviously. Okay, let's ask ourselves a question. Let's ask ourselves a weakness, and how can we work on this weakness? So a weakness I have is I'm slow to start. I need to warm up, and once I'm going, and I do really well. Is that just how it works? Is that just some people just need to warm up, I guess? You just got to get the brain going, because the brain's been on autopilot for so long. It's like, oh crap, I actually need to do some computations now? Oh crap. Because I realize that, like, with anything, when I'm doing whatever hobby, the start of it, I'm just a bit of a dink. I do dumb things, or I'm just not thinking. And then once I get in there, yeah, I just start figuring it out. I get going, I can get really good at things. And I guess it's just, you just need to warm up. Your brain wasn't thinking about whatever it was yet. It's thinking about it now, and now that it is, it's on all cylinders on it. So, okay. Yeah, answer my own question, I guess. But, like, how can I make it warm up sooner, right? Like, I guess the way to do that would be just thinking about the subject you're going to do already before you get in there. So, with, like, Taiko, when I'm doing that, I'm so slow at the start. I'm like, well, I could just warm up my body before I even get in there. Just move my arm, move my body around. Start thinking about the moves and movements. I could be doing that, and that would warm me up and prepare me for it, I guess. The problem with that is we do a cooldown before we even start. So with the place I'm training, the master has us do meditation before and after. So I'm like, well, you clean the slate. Now I'm back to not being warmed up, I guess. Now I think about it. So I don't know, be warmed up while not being warmed up, I guess, and then warm up. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's figure that out. I think it's good to find your weaknesses and try to work on them, work through them, and try to work with them. But here's something interesting. So most of my life, it has been, I don't want to do something unless I'm motivated to do it. Right? And because, like, yeah, if you're motivated to do it, you'll do it. But then someone brought up a concept I never thought of, and that is accepting that you have to do something, which I never thought of. For me, it's always been, I don't want to do something unless I'm motivated to do it, which is annoying, but it just makes sense to me because, like, if you don't have the creative energy to do something, it's not going to be good. And arguably, yeah, for art, yeah, you want to be motivated before you don't just do it. But this idea of acceptance is interesting in that you accept that you have a goal you have in mind, and you accept that you need to do these certain steps to get there. So arguably, let's say you want to, let's say a 5K. Let's go with that. Like, you are adamant you want to do a 5K. You've always wanted to do it, but you just haven't been good physically for it. So like, okay, I want to do a 5K. I must do a 5K. This is something I really want to do. So then becomes, all right, so how do you train to get into a 5K shape? And it's like, well, if you break it down, how many days with rest periods, how would you do it? And like, this is how it would be. Okay, well, that's not going to be very fun. But if this is really what you want to do, you have to accept that these are what you need to do to get there. And so you must do these things. Whether accepting that it's going to suck, but you have to accept, like, this is what I need to do if I want to achieve this goal. And then you do that. And I think that's a tricky thing to do. But I think because you accept that this is going to happen, I think it should lessen the burden. Because you know this is what you're doing. You decided to do this. You didn't have anyone else thrust it upon you. You decided on this. And in theory, that should be its own motivation. I think. The problem is, of course, knowledge. Knowing how much you actually need. Like, I think it's a lot of guesswork that we do. We guess, like, okay, I think it's this much. And because we're not 100% sure, we're just guessing, we give ourselves some leeway because of that. We're like, all right, well, this was really rough. I was wrong. Let's back it up a little bit more. Let's back it up a little bit more. And then maybe you back it up a little too much, and then you're not really getting challenged. And you're not really preparing yourself for that 5K, at least not as quickly as you should be. Possible the other way around is always like, okay, I'm not preparing well enough. I need to do more. And then you run the risk of injuring yourself. That's the problem. Is I guess you want to consult an expert as much as you can, but sometimes experts are just not what you agree with. So when I went on my weight loss journey, which I can still lose more, but when I went on my weight loss journey, I talked to nutritionists, and they wanted to put me on keto. And I'm just 1,000% against keto. But they're like, look, come back to me when you want to do keto. They didn't even want to try a different diet. I'm like, jeez, okay. Not a fan of that, so I had to figure it out on my own. And what I did was just a basic bodybuilder cut while maintaining a lot of protein and some fat and a good amount of carbs. That's what I did. That's what lost me 30 pounds. But then I got lazy, as I've gotten lazy, where I went back up 5 pounds. And I've just been plateaued at this point. And there's been a style I've been wanting to do, but I've just been so lazy to do it because I would just rather play games and I would just rather dick around part of my day than, because I work so much and I do so much overtime and I do so much exercise. I'd be like, I'd rather just dick around a little more. But by doing that, I make less content. I'm doing less creative pursuits. I'm mixing myself up with my priorities. And at some point, I need to just wake up and get back on these priorities. And maybe I should figure out acceptance. Well, I think also I need to figure out scheduling. I think I need to accept that if I want to pull off a bunch of things. I need to get better at scheduling my life and actually sticking to it and doing what I need to do with where I'm at currently. And when things change, and just figure that out. Like maybe I should map out my month at the start of every month and just figure out what I'm going to do for all the many projects I have. The projects right now, and some have fallen to the wayside, and I got to get back on them. So, Super Mario RPG has been like, I haven't played it in like 2 months. I need to finish that. We already beat the game. I'm just doing the bosses, and after that, we'll move on to the next voice LP. But that's where we're at right now, and I just have not been motivated because I've hit a wall in that game. The post bosses, they're puzzles, and the puzzles are kicking my ass. So I've just been stuck on that. And because I just haven't been streaming. I haven't just done any general streams because I've just been on a brick wall on that. And that's like a motivation thing there. I'm like, well, except that I need to just get back on there a little bit. Learning Japanese. I study Japanese a couple hours a week, just randomly, and I think I need to work on just sitting down and doing at least half an hour to an hour every day so it does better for retention. Like Tuesdays, I do so much Japanese, it's like, well, because of that, I just get lazy on the other days. Every Tuesday, I study Japanese because I go to a Japanese place for about 4 hours. I go to this place where there's a bunch of Japanese people, so I'm listening to conversations, so I'm learning through osmosis, and I'm studying at the same time. And because of that, I get lazy the rest of the week. But that's still a good amount of dedication to a thing, so I don't know. I got to figure that out better. I do Pilates 4 to 5 hours a week, but honestly, I need to do more. Because my plan ultimately was, if you do a pound of exercise a week, you're doing a pound of exercise a week. And so I've gone off on that because the way that works is if you do 500 calories of exercise every day, that's a pound a week. If you walk for 2 hours a day, that's about 500 calories. If you're just walking straight, let's just say flatland, that's give or take depending on your metabolism, things like that, and how much exertion you're doing. It's about 2 hours of walking. So I'm like, well, exercise for an hour with like Pilates or something, and then walk for an hour. And I'll be like, well, I'm just doing the Pilates. I'm like, well, I got to get back on that. I got to get back on actually doing more exercises. But you get lazy or you just get really sore from things. And it's just like, you don't want to do that. But it's like, how much time do I spend dicking around on my phone? I spend plenty of time dicking around on my phone. So because of that, I should walk while dicking around on my phone. Obviously, that's all I got to do. That's something I've been working on, is like walking that, or just walking and studying Japanese on my phone. Those are things I can do. Walk and do something else. That's something I can do. Instead of sitting and watching things. Or I can walk and watch things. There's a lot of things where I sit and do things. That's my thing where, like, my plan is, when I get home, is to just have a treadmill in front of a TV. That's a plan. And it's like, it's not a bad plan, but the problem is that's not where I'm at right now. So adjust for now, not adjust for the future. At least not in this way. And then weight loss also could be just being good about diet again. I just haven't been. I've been lazy on diet. There's just been too many good foods getting thrown at me, and I'm like, oh, I want them. I think an easy acceptance is, well, here's something that got really annoying. All of the food counting apps have become pay to use now, and now they're just not useful for free. And like, well, like they just made them worse, or they updated them and the UI is even worse, even if you pay for it. I'm like, yeah, I don't like any of this. And so, yeah, the apps got worse, and like that also put a dent in things because I was keeping track pretty well. Like MyFitnessPal is awful now, and all the alternatives are awful. I don't know what I'm going to do about calorie counting and macro counting. They put macros behind a freaking paywall. I'm like, what is this? They put so much behind a paywall. I'm like, this is just insultingly bad. And then right now I'm studying for a state exam. So I'm like, well, just study a little bit every day. The state exam's in 3 weeks, so just study a little bit every day. That's my plan. Just do a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. Like, do like an hour a day, just studying, getting there, do a review, things like that. So I'm just trying to do a metered out style instead of doing one big push. And we'll see how that goes. Yeah. I say all this as I'm about to go to a food festival, so I need to work on exercising more for sure, and exercising before a food festival. But I'm still going to try to limit my calories correctly. We'll see what happens. So that's the vlog, talking about just accepting tasks and finding motivation through them, and we'll see how that works. But I think I really do need to map things out better and try to stick to them, which is so hard with ADD. It really is. But that's it for now. Thanks for coming by. I had fun. Hope you've been watching. That's what's up, as it having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time. Bye, 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 bye.